Good morning. What are you seeing more clearly this week than you did last week? If you were with us last week and participated in our visioning, either right after service in our workshop or maybe you did it at home, you may recall that the second question in that list of visioning questions is, what must I become? What must I become? That question raises questions sometimes because it seems paradoxical in our teaching. Because we teach that we are whole, perfect, and complete just as we are. So how can that be? That we must become something else? Another confusing message in this teaching says we're continually growing and expanding in our consciousness and awareness. Now, all that sounds quite confusing, does it not? I'm whole, perfect, and complete. I must become, and I'm always growing. What are you people teaching? Well, I think it means that we are whole, perfect, and complete, just as we are, wherever we are on the spectrum of life today, right now, this moment, fully present, whole, perfect, and complete. And because we are spiritual beings having this human experience, we're always learning more about our spiritual selves. And that is a very deep well. Because we are made of the infinite substance of all. We're made of spirit stuff. So there's always more to discover, right? So that's what all of those layers of teaching are teaching us. My message today is becoming your true self. And our message, our theme for this whole month is a vision for your life. As we're working on this building and living a life by design all year. We're no longer living by default. We're choosing to design our life consciously and to live by those visions and decisions. So we're starting with vision, like we did last week. We're opening our hearts and our minds to this infinite field of possibilities that we live in, move in, have our being within. And we're tapping into that flow that is constantly coming to us. But we get so busy in the outside world, we miss it sometimes. And so we have to become still. And we have to ask, what is Spirit's vision? And we listen and we become open to some greater experience or greater potentiality for our lives. Well, that begs the question, why haven't I thought of this before? Why didn't I think of this? Wrestling match up here, hang on. All right. Why didn't I think of this before? And that's why the answer in the second question, what am I becoming? So we sit down and we say, what is Spirit's vision? Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? Oh, well, what's going on with me that's not allowing that to come forward in my life? What limitations am I buying into that blocked me from ever seeing this possibility, potentiality before? Now, does anybody have any issues about the word God? I used to, because I had some attachments to it and the way it was taught to me as a small child and growing up. I've 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 matured and grown through that, but I know a lot of people get hung up on it, and that's why we use a lot of words for the infinite presence, source, presence, essence, universal energy, the universe, whatever that we call it. So in this question of what must I become, because of all that stuff I told you before, that what am I have to become? I'm already whole, perfect, and complete. We can get caught up in the words. So we ask it in some different ways. We say, what must I embrace or bring into my life that I'm not allowing now? What must I be? Must I behave different? Must I be a different type of person? Or where am I to grow? Where am I to grow? Because we're all into personal growth and expansion, right? Where am I to grow? And these are all questions questions of expansion. And that's what the purpose of this second question is. So that's what we're asking. Look at what we are not doing, what we are not being today that's blocking, preventing, what we're resisting from allowing this vision into our lives. It suggests that maybe the infinite universe has something more in mind for us than we have been able to come up with just yet. If you remember the story that I told last week about the visioning process that I went through on our center and its creation, I can assure you I had never, ever, ever, ever had a thought about opening a center. Ever. In all of my years of classes leading up to and including practitioner, in all of my years of ministerial training, not until that last class in that last week did it pop into my head. Totally new and terrifying idea. So as I think back on that and I look at it, I ask myself now, gee, what did I think I had to become in order to let that happen? In order to allow that vision to emerge through me, I had to be willing. I had to be willing. If you remember the story, to say yes to it. I had to become willing to allow that to manifest through me. I had to surrender to the vision itself. I had to be willing to let spirit work through me. I had to not say no anymore. You ever gotten one of those ideas? Gosh, that's a great idea. No, I can't do that. We've all had them, haven't we? Yeah, we've all had them. And then maybe we see somebody else take action on them. I had to be willing to ask for help, to be willing to ask for references. I had to be willing to ask for money. These things were not in my comfort zone. So I had to be willing on. As I think about that question, what must I think it's always a good question for us to ask, particularly when life is a little difficult or challenging, when something is unhappy in our life or something is causing us challenge or grief. Getting still in those moments, instead of resisting and fighting what that is, getting still and asking, what must I become? Maybe asking, how am I making this welcome in my life? Am I holding this here by being so resistant to it that I can't even see another possibility? How am I not making greater joy, peace, harmony, and balance in a microphone that works happy in my life? These questions are not simply to create a pity party of blame and shame in our lives. And the things that are in our lives, the conditions that we're facing in our lives. That is such an end of our teaching that is not true. We are just bringing light to how life be the way it is and what we can is about. These are questions of reflection, of expansion. They're questions of your soul. When we get quiet and we ask, what must I become? What more must I as human become as spirit in order for this vision to manifest? Asking these reflective questions helps us to see our blind spots. Now, I know none of us have blind spots in this room. I know I can never see mine because it's a blind spot, right? But other people can see them. And when we can get quiet and still, we can see those blind spots of the beliefs and the actions and the choices that we make that keep us stuck. To keep us stuck. These questions are also a reminder of the gift of choice that each one of us has. about our choices, decisions, and how we take action in our lives. And all of those are the catalyst current conditions in our lives, whether those are good or bad. Happy and joyful and balanced and centered. You better believe I want to know why. I want to know what I'm doing to feel more of that, more just as every morning. Oh, better care of my health. Oh, I'm getting enough rest. Gee, look how much better. On the other hand, if I'm feeling, that's when I know I need to go within and ask those questions of myself. To go within and ask those questions of myself. What must I become? What must I become, be, embrace in order to be peace? In order to be peaceful? In order to be peace filled? What must I become? What actions am I taking that don't support peace? What thoughts am I allowing to run on the hamster wheel of my brain that keep it right there and keep it fresh? Stories am I telling myself and other people about what I'm angry about? I need to stop engaging of the content that's out there. Have you noticed there's a lot of it? And it comes at us a lot. And if we allow it, with all the stuff, it's just overwhelming. Outlet that is coming in to me, whether that's social, a media outlet, friends, family, talk show, whatever it is, opinion about something that happened. They may or may not have been there. I had a teacher in ministerial school that was teaching world religions, ancient religions and things. And she said, but I wasn't there. Letting us know she was just telling us a story of something that was in. She says, but I wasn't there. And I have held on to that perspective that I'm not there. And what I'm hearing is from everybody else out there and everybody else's opinion. And so rather than getting caught up on that and going down the red hole of research and making the spreadsheet and checking out everybody's stuff, and they said this is what it was, and this must be what it is. Does that bring me peace? No. So I turn away. I turn it off, and I become peace. I focus instead on what I prefer. Ernest Holmes is the author of The Science of Mind, and he said, we do not give the power. So that is the anger. We don't give the anger any power. A condition can only exist if there is a conscious that is supporting it. Stopped me in my tracks. Think about that statement. We could reflect on that statement for a year. Away from it and focus our entire being on. And that's my practice. To being naive, out of touch, missing out. And I say it works for me. My spiritual practice is it works. I feel better. I'm not angry at the world. Am I out of touch? Not really. I still see headlines. It's really important. Somebody will give me the bad news, I'm sure. I just know that when I'm balanced in my truth, and I'm centered, that my life is, my relationship better, my health is better, and my finances are better. And from that place, that foundation, that is where I can do my work in the world. That is where I can be someone of peace, wholeness, centeredness, rather than just another angry voice in the world. Implementing the vision for our life or the intention we set during our burning bowl can be either one of those. If you haven't done the visioning process or if it's not working, um, you can use your intention that you set in January. Excuse me. It requires us to become something more. It requires us focusing on. It requires us to be different from who we were when we wrote it down. Now it's about 6 weeks. Yeah, about 6 weeks since we did our intentions. Do you have any idea how many cells have replicated themselves in your body and how many you've lost and have gone away? You're becoming a new person already. Requires us to be different than when we wrote it down, because the consciousness that wrote it down is the consciousness that was wanting something different. You are now becoming the consciousness that has that. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It requires us to make it welcome. We need, you've heard of hostile environments, hostile work environments, and things like that. We need to be a healthy, good environment for whatever it is we're trying to call in. That's our work, is to first become the place where it can live within us. Now, Ernest taught us about and we witness this in our own evolution. We're born as small infants, and we are pretty dependent at that point. And then as we begin our evolution into hopefully a highly functioning adult, we begin to see the cycle of our lives and the things that we've gone through. So we're growing up and we're looking down on those old, from a higher perspective, a higher elevation. And looking down, things are small down there, aren't they? When you get down there, they're pretty big, but when you're looking down, they're smaller. So those things, those negative experiences, seem smaller and easier to handle as we continue our upward spiral of life. When we view life as a spiral, upward is better than downward, right? The downward spiral is the one that can take one little thought. It's like a marble in one. Remember the old marble funnels you used to run around? It's like that. One little thought, and then it starts rolling, and it starts getting momentum and going faster and faster. The next thing you know, we're catastrophizing everything. We're blaming everything. We're depressed. Oh my gosh, life is awful. That's the downward spiral. We want to stay on that upward spiral of expansion and growth. And our vision can help us with that. Our vision for our life, our intention for our life can help us with that, because it supports us in making better decisions. Has anybody besides me ever made a bad decision? Yeah. Ones that support us rather than keeping us stuck where we are. Support that expansion, support that growth. What must I become? Encourage us to grow beyond our old bad decisions. I found this on the internet this week and I just took it. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know who posted it even. It says, who will you be in 5 years? What are you choosing? We realize the choice we make today impact us tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow and 5 years down the road, right? And so I ask, is it the fries or the salad? Is it the ice cream or the fruit? Is it the snooze or is it the gym? And my favorite is it meditation or screen first thing in the morning. Ah, I get groans on that one. I thought the ice cream would get you. Well, those fries look pretty good too. What are you becoming? What are you becoming? What decisions are you making on a daily basis? Because that's it. So everyday little decisions that either support or destroy your future self. Whatever the vision or the intention that you're focusing on this year, remember that all of the ideas are divine ideas. And remember that your vision and your intention came from the infinite as a brand new idea for you. And that every idea that spirit has, the creative process, it all comes with everything necessary for its full and complete manifestation. And my favorite example is the apple tree. When an apple tree, the seed begins to grow and grow the apple tree, and over time, it's all the blossoms on it. And if you've seen an apple tree in the spring, it's loaded with blossoms. Every blossom is an apple. And if every blossom bloomed into or grew into an apple, the weight of it would destroy the tree. So what happens? We get wind in the springtime, and all of the weak blossoms blow off, only leaving the strongest. And wait that the tree can handle all that fruit. And then fruit, and you cut into it and open it up. What's in there? Seeds. Seeds for more apple trees in the same cycle. So everything in creation comes with what it needs to sustain it. Think of your bodies. You have all the organs that you need, a wonderful breathing system, a heart that beats and circulates your blood, a brain that keeps you going. Your skeleton. If you've ever seen a skeleton, it's like how does that even walk? It doesn't make sense. But it comes with all these other things that make it walk, right? So everything comes, including your vision, has come forward with all that you need to manifest it, as long as you're willing. Again, had I not been willing to be used by Spirit to embrace the support that was needed, to make the decisions needed to actually fill out the paperwork instead of just surfing on social media or going out to play, I stayed and I wrote all the paperwork and stuff. This vision may not have happened, at least through me. It may have happened through someone else. Ernest Holmes taught us that ignorance of the truth and the laws of nature is the only thing that keeps us in bondage. The very power that binds you can free you if you reverse the way you're using it. It is the same wind that can blow the ship upon the rocks or safely into the harbor. It is the set of the sail and not the gale that determines the way we go. Our winds of chance must become winds of certainty. This reminds us that we are in partnership with the universe. We have an important and powerful role in creation. Whatever your vision or intention is this year, you're the captain of that ship. You are the captain of that ship. You're the one that's setting the course, adjusting the sails. But never forget, it is Spirit that is the wind. Have we accepted that part? We have to accept it's going to be different. It's going to be different at this new location. Holmes was all about this. Said we should hold our vision in mind. It becomes manifested as an accomplished fact. When you look at your vision board every day, are you affirming it is done? It is done. Are you holding that truth in your heart, knowing this is done in my life? It's kind of like we've already placed the order. We've already paid for it. We're just waiting on it to be delivered. That sense of expectation. When we get there with our vision process and our vision board process, that's when the energy begins to move and things begin to show up for us. Now, Holmes is a little more eloquent in this than I was. So he says, daily we hold our already accomplished fact, and we go about our business with joy and gladness, with peace and quiet confidence. The law is sure to act. During the process, many things may happen that will appear to be destructive. We may pass through good fortune and bad, but if we can come to the point where we are not disturbed by what happens on the outside, we have found the secret. We have found the secret. Anybody ever cleaned out a garage or closet? You know the process. Everything comes out. You got a giant mess, right? And then you begin to put back what goes back. And then you've got another pile of things that need to go away. And then finally that all goes away. And now you've got a beautiful creation. You've got nice uncluttered space. But during the process, it kind of gets messy in the middle. And I think that's what Holmes is talking about here, that we may have passed through good fortune, bad. And I would say seeming good fortune and bad, because as we go through that change that we have to go through to get to the vision, things are going to change and it's going to get messy, maybe. And it might get uncomfortable, maybe, and maybe not. But if we're prepared for that and we know and stay focused on what that vision is, we will get there. Having a clear vision for our lives supports us in living more authentically, because everything we do then is based, balanced against, reviewed against the vision. Does this fit my vision? If it doesn't fit the vision, don't do it. If we're trying to lose weight, if we're trying to create wealth, we don't want to do the things that don't do that, right? We don't want to eat the wrong foods. We don't. So it's everything against the vision. What's my vision? Oh, that's not my vision. I don't want to do that. And if we do choose to do it consciously. Do it consciously. Living life by design does not mean that we have a little detailed map of every single step on our path. That's not what we're talking about this year. It means we're building a compass. It means we're building a compass, something that's going to help us stay on track and not get lost along the way. The vision we hold is our true north. That's the true north. That's where we're going. The path is ours to choose. We're going to go. If it's going to be a straight circuitous or backwards and forwards, we get to choose all that. But as long as we keep our head in our true north, we will reach our destination. So practices for this week to support us in becoming. To reflect on your life's vision or intention for this year, whichever it is, and ask yourself some questions in a reflective, contemplative sort of way. Where am I standing in the way of this experience in my life? Where am I standing in the way of this? What am I resisting? Am I resisting life so much that I have no space for that which I want to call in? And how must I grow into this new thing, this new way of being or experience of life? Where am I to grow? Just spend time in that question of what must I become. It can be very revelational. That's a word. Revealing. How about that? It can be very revealing. So this week we're going to begin to build our compass and embrace the vision for our lives, because you're going to do amazing things with it. And we are here to support you, Daniel and I both, as your practitioners in any way that we can with your vision or your intention. So please use us. Use us. And so it is. All right. Would you join me in prayer this morning? Oh, how good it is that we come together on Sunday mornings in community, gathering space, and spirit beings that we are. There's only God, there's only spirit, source, presence, essence, the one power, that infinite intelligence and wisdom, that which created all from itself. And we are one in that, one in the one. And we are whole, perfect, and complete, and we are growing and expanding because we are that God substance. And we're remembering more, we're understanding more about who we truly are and opening to that divine influx of love and peace and joy, of wholeness and wisdom and prosperity. And so knowing that that's who we are and what we're about, I speak my word for and about us this morning. Knowing that each of us has come here this day and by divine appointment, because there are no mistakes. And we have come in community to hear this message, to be present to each other, to be supportive of each other. As we grow in awareness, as we embrace our vision, our intention for this year, as we know at the deepest level that it's possible for us to be, do, have, experience whatever that vision or that goal or that intention for this year is, because it's already done in the mind of God. We could not have the thought were it not done. And that creates such excitement, enthusiasm, and expectation for the good that we are experiencing, for the good that is flowing to and through us, for all of the divine right appointments of people and finances and information and data and whatever it is that we need to make that vision into a reality in our lives. We just make it welcome. Make it welcome. Pour it tea. Say thank you. Because that's who we are. We're a welcoming presence for that which is ours to do, be, and have. I know for anyone that has anything on their heart today, as they lift it into the consciousness of this prayer, that we hold them in our love and in our light, knowing that the blessings are bestowed upon them. And so with a grateful heart filled with joy and thanksgiving, I release this prayer into the action and activity of law, knowing that it's already done. And we affirm this truth together by saying, and so it is.